Bill in his sixth season at Northeastern, and you had some momentum at the end of the year. You know, you could see a very young team starting to come on with winning 6 of your last 7 of your last 11. Do you feel that's starting to carry over? Is that kind of spirit something that can transfer over from season to season?
Yeah, I obviously very pleased the way we finished the year. We were much more competitive than we were early in the season. I think the biggest thing, maybe the lesson that would carry over, is that we learned just how hard we needed to play and just the quality of execution we needed to win in this league. You have to be at your best each and every night if you're going to expect to win basketball games. And I think our young roster learned that lesson at the end of the year, and we're hoping that carries over to this season.
Well, you got some pretty good players in Smith and Lee. Are they coming back? You got a player returning that started for you a year earlier, was out all year. Personnel-wise, looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, we have a group of starters returning. Obviously, you mentioned John Lee and Joel Smith, both played very well for us last year. Tremendous shooters and got great experience in the backcourt. We have Kari Black, who's returning he's kind of a combo forward for us and a do-it-all forward for us, and Ryan Pearson, who was on the all-rookie team. Right. And then we get Al Wayne Bigby, who suffered an injury last year, who was a starter as a freshman, so he's been in that role before. So we have some guys who at least have been in the battles, in the CAA battles, and that experience will serve us well.
You talk about great shooters with Smith and Lee. They really, again, like your team, as the season went on, started to light it up with double figures almost in every one of their last 20 or so games. And do these guys have the green light as much as it looks, Coach? I mean, they certainly can and will put it up. But when they're successful, I'm sure the coach is happy about that.
Yeah, well, both those guys have worked very, very hard on their shooting. And when they get a quality look, they know what that is, and they're not afraid to put it up. And luckily for us last year, they made a great percentage of their shots. Their roles may change a little bit this year. We did have a pretty good player named Chase Allen,
yes.
who kind of set the table for everybody. But they're ready to take the lead and take the mantle of the program.
To that end, and when we talked to Mo Cassera earlier, and he talked about what a great influence a guy like Charles Jenkins was on an entire team, and so how a guy like Mike Moore can learn from that. Do you kind of feel that your kids got a little taste of, because Chase Allen did everything for your
team,
did. And particularly on the defensive end, which is never the glamour aspect of the game.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of leadership. That you pass the torch on to the younger group, and Chase did a great job of that. They understand how hard Joel and John and some of the younger guys, how hard you have to work to be a good player in this league and to be an effective team. And these guys, we like to say that captains are appointed and leaders emerge. Mm-hmm. And certainly John and Joel emerged last year as leaders for us.
No one can ever accuse you of trying to take it easy. Your starting schedule is, again, as tough as it gets.
Well, we understand what the end goal is, and that's to be competitive in the CAA. Right. And so in order to prepare yourself, you have to go out in the preseason and really challenge yourself against the best competition you can find. When you look at teams like VCU making it to the Final Four, if you want to be in that conversation, you have to learn your lessons early, and there's no better way to do it than challenge yourself in a non-conference.
Looking at your roster, I see one senior, 4 juniors, and that senior is Chief Edwards, who's transferring in, correct?
Well, we're excited that because Chief, part of the family, he's a very productive player up at Niagara. What he can bring to the court is one thing, but what he can bring to our locker room. We didn't have a senior on the roster, and sometimes it's really hard to recreate that senior urgency where players come out and they don't want to lose, they don't want to put their jersey away, they don't want to hang up the sneakers, they want to play another night, and we're hoping Kashif can bring some of that emotional leadership as well.
You mentioned a moment ago about seeing what VCU did. The entire conference has been so strong over the years. You get 2 Final Four appearances in 5 years, 3 teams getting bids. What has that meant in your mind for the conference, and particularly for Northeastern as you start to go and recruit and talk CAA? Is it something that's really helped getting the word out about how good this conference is?
Well, there's a saying, perception is reality. We're hoping that reality is perception, because the reality is that this league is off the charts in terms of level of play. It's so competitive. The level of coaching, the level of players, the level of competition is the best in the country of all the non-BCS conferences. And for that, that just VCU's run last year, I think, really articulated that to the rest of the country. And it will enhance all the programs in the league, that you're able to compete in a league that can produce Final Four participants. It's really outstanding.
And in one of the great sports towns in America too. It's sports up in Beantown, isn't it?
It is. We're very, very fortunate to live where we live and do what we do. I live in a world-class city. I work for a world-class institution, and we compete in a world-class conference. So I'm very, very fortunate.
And a world-class coach, Bill Coen. Thanks for being with us. Good luck this year.
Thank you very much. Great to see you guys.
Bill Coen, the head coach at Northeastern University.
Go to ESPN3 for the complete replay of the 2011 CAA Basketball Media Day Live.